Welcome to Record-ology! Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Alright, we're back at it again, you guys. Now, as you already know, we're taking a look at a Disney record, more specifically, this Disney record right here. Now, we've looked at Disney records from the 50s, on red vinyl, on yellow plastic, it's not really vinyl, doesn't matter right now, all the way up to current day Disney intellectual property. And there's so many cool things out there. There's so many things we've reviewed, so many things to review. Love, love, love it. So today, I'm very excited because we're really in my wheelhouse. We're getting close to the 80s on this one. This is actually 75. But, you know, my parents gave me a lot of hand-me-down stuff, starting with this record player right here, the Fisher-Price Turntable, 1978, 79-ish. We've reviewed this. We've taken a look at it in extensive detail. But it was a hand-me-down. In fact, mine didn't even have the lid. So it is possible, scratch that, it is probable that I might have had a record very much like this. So let's take a look at what we got. Now, first thing you're going to notice, or perhaps, is that it's not the typical shape. First of all, it is a 7-inch record. It's a smaller record. For, size comparison, there is an LP cover. And there is the cover of this. So it is definitely a smaller 7-inch record, but it's not square. It's not the correct proportions, or the typical proportions, I should say. It's very correct. It is what it is. So you may be saying, well, it's a book. It's a storybook. Well, it's not, actually. It doesn't even have any pages at all. A lot of the Disney records we reviewed have the storybook pages. I love those. They're probably my favorites. This one doesn't. In fact, it looks like it was marketed as a kind of a value proposition. Here we got 99 cents, 45 RPM song record. That is to distinguish it from the storybook records. For some reason the orange on this is playing a little bit of havoc with the white balance on the camera, so my apologies there. But what do we got here? We've got a very 70s Mickey Mouse. We've got, a couple of the Fab Four. Well, 3 of the Fab Four. And we've got Pinocchio and Winnie the Pooh as well. Disneyland records have the official Disney characters and music. Why do they say that? Put down in the comments, hit pause, go to the comments below, and enter what you think that is for. Why does it say, why would they go out of their way to say Disneyland records have the official Disney characters and music? Okay, welcome back. Did you hit pause? I think you didn't hit it. I think you just scrolled right through. If you get the answer, then go back. That doesn't count. I'm just kidding with you guys. But the reason is because a lot of the stories that Walt Disney uses for their intellectual property are public domain stories, like Cinderella. So a record like this, Cinderella record, a child might have seen the Walt Disney Cinderella movie, as did I. In fact, I've got mine on display, apparently just out of reach. Where the heck is it? Yeah, right here. VHS. They might see. I love this. Look how it's got like the glitter inlay there. I love this movie. Instant good vibes. Instant good vibes. I love this packaging too. But anyway, a child may see this, even when it came out in the 50s, and then see this record on the shelf, and a child isn't thinking, wait a minute, that's a different font. The blue's not quite right. It's a girl with kind of the same color hair, but it's not, you know what I mean? It's not a knockoff, because Cinderella existed long before Disney. However, this is clearly trying to market towards children of a story that they become familiar with because of this. So, Disney obviously knows this is happening, and this is still cool, by the way. So they're like, we need to differentiate it. And one way to do that is to say Disneyland records have the official Walt Disney characters and music. So there you go. Now the next thing I want to point out, well, first let's look at the back. The back is very reminiscent of a Little Golden Book. In fact, a lot of the Little Golden records we've taken a look at, the Disney ones, incorporate the same yellow. And I love those Little Golden records that are truly golden. I think that's really cool. But this is very reminiscent of the back of a Little Golden Book, which, if you're a child of the 80s, as am I, you're very familiar with that. Happy Things. Got a couple different characters around there. you know, not necessarily from the story you're reading. It was sort of a generic back page or back cover to show some of the other titles that you can collect. There's our date down there. Now you'll see Disneyland Records. Disneyland Records, Buena Vista Records, they all tie into the same company, obviously. So let's take a look. Enough of this. Let's look at the record. There's no sleeve or anything. I don't know if this came with one or not. This is one of my all-time favorite Disney labels. I love it. This is the mid to late 70s Disneyland Records label, and it's beautiful. And it's coming across nicely on camera. Sometimes this camera will, play a little bit goofy with the colors. We are obviously shooting in 4K and everything, but sometimes the colors, mostly as it relates to the lighting that we're using, the light ring color temperature, we try to adjust it so you get an accurate representation. But this time it's coming through loud and clear. The record player from yesterday, I never could get the color quite right. But anyway, I like this. I would say, from an aesthetic standpoint, I like this the best of all of them. But from a nostalgic standpoint, the mid-'80s yellow one that's very similar to this has sort of the stepped color gradient up there. I like that as well. So let's look in the run-out groove here. We have the matrix number. Let's see if we have any pressing plant stuff. Not really. Got to get the light just right. It is an EP, so you've got 3 tracks on that side, and on the flip side here, we've got 2 tracks. For those of you that don't know, an EP, or extended play 45, is modulated with extra tight grooves so that you can fit in more music. Still spins at 45, but you can get 10 minutes of music on this. You can like double the record time on these by issuing it as an EP. So obviously it's 45 RPM. We've got the large hole. For those of us here in the US, in the UK, yours probably had, a little bit more material there with the small hole. So when I'm thinking nostalgic, when I'm thinking my childhood of the 80s, we've got to whip out the Fisher-Price turntable. Just a classic. Just a classic. Love this. So nothing is more 80s than orange and brown. Everything in the 80s was orange and brown. So this is 45, so we're going to use our little adapter guy here. And then we're going to go ahead and play this. So this is going to have some musical content that's going to be highly copyrighted. So we're going to have to just kind of give you guys a sampling of the tracks. This was like $1. I think I paid. So it's interesting. The value, if you were to look at a fair market value on this, it would probably be more in the $5 to $10 range max. But oftentimes you can find treasures like this for $1, which is what I did. So this is the kind of thing you don't buy for monetary value. You buy it for sentimental value, for nostalgia. That's more important anyway. Yeah, flipping it to 45 RPM on our noisy monaural idler drive turntable. Just picking up some cell phone interference. I've had a lot of that lately. Let's go ahead and drop our stylus. Okay, and there you go. And if you were to put this on a higher end turntable, if you were to put this on the LP3 or LP7, the fidelity would blow your mind. That's one thing about Disney is when it comes to their product, they compete with the best in the business. They are the best in the business as far as I'm concerned. But when they put out things, if they're going to make a record, they're going to make it high quality. This is not a flimsy, cheapo vinyl record. I don't know if this is styrene or not. This actually might be styrene. I can feel that label. We've got sort of a square edge on there. Let's do the ringy-dingy test. Yep. So we got a metallic ring when we tap it. So that is a polystyrene record made out of the same material as a yogurt cup, which is weird, or a styrofoam cup. Same material. But, and again, I love how people will, there's all kinds of debate on that. Some people swear styrene sounds better. Some people think it's trash. It's all in the eye of the beholder. If it brings joy to you, if it makes you happy, then that's the best, right? That's the best. All right, let's listen to the flip side here a little bit. Bring it up to speed. The sound on this is very harsh, this record player. It'd be really fun to do sometime is to make like a repository of Disney music like this. Not the stuff that is like, that you can purchase today, but like alternate tracks I don't think anything of theirs is out of copyright. But you know what I mean? Like just a place where you can go listen to stuff. Obviously, I would like to do that in a very licensed and legal way. Otherwise, we're confined to the content ID match parameters of YouTube, and we get a few seconds before we get a content ID match. I will say this. I do like the fact that YouTube allows you to put up pretty much anything you want because you're hosting it. I mean, you're doing the hard work. You're hosting the content. They'll just take their percentage off the top, as they should. It's their property. So I think that it makes sense to do that. And it's kind of nice that instead of getting in trouble for posting copyrighted content, that they allow you to do so, and they just put ads next to it. The downside is you can't monetize those videos. And speaking of monetization, I would just like to say a thank you to everybody who has contributed to my virtual tip jar. Actually, I use the Buy Me a Coffee service. There's a link in the description below and on our banner and in our About tab. And that's just a little way for you to buy me a virtual coffee to help support the show so that we can afford to buy records like this to review. Interesting content. And many of you have jumped in there to do that. And I just want to say thank you. More than any of that, I just want your attention and your time. And I know how busy your day is. So making the time to hang out with me for a few minutes every day, I really, really appreciate that. That means the world to me. You guys are awesome. If you have any comments you would like to make, please put those down below. I'm a day or so behind on comments. I'm going to try and get in on that tomorrow. So if I didn't reply to you yet, I apologize. I'll try to get in there and do those. As you know, I try to reply to every comment I possibly can. Thank you guys, as always, for your support. And just, God bless each and every one of you. You guys have an awesome evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Make it a great night. And we will see you tomorrow.